Good morning, AO. I think I'm on live here. Having a little bit of trouble with my display thingy. I don't know, the thing that holds my camera, whatever it's called. Anyway, my name is Shelley Merrell. I'm here to answer some questions that were given to me by the members of AO to get my interpretation, or just kind of share what I would do if I was in that situation. So I hope y'all are doing well. Bear with me. We're having super high winds today. It's not fun. Anyway, here we go. My first question is from Nadia Savik. Hopefully I said that right. Last names are always fun to try to figure out here. Question is, when first starting out in business as a stylist to make extra money, would you have a second job, side hustle, or gig? The description is, currently I rent space in a salon someone else owns. I'm a hairstylist. My goal is to own and rent space or have my own salon with stylists that work in my studio. Currently I have a few slow months. My light just went off. Okay, sorry. I don't know what's going on with it. I have a few slow months throughout the year and wondering if working a second job would take away from my focus. I do work a few days a month at a bar, but I've been thinking about picking up more. I simply want to build enough savings to be able to help me get my own space to grow in. What would you do or recommend? Well, you guys are going to have to just put up with me without a ring light because it keeps turning off and I don't know why, so whatever. Nadia, when I was starting out, I personally didn't handle money the way I should have. And what I've since learned is you want to always save before you spend, rather than spending and then saving what's left over. Make your savings more of a priority by saving it before you can spend it. I kind of try to trick my own brain into acting like it's a bill. So I just pay that bill, and that way I know that I've saved some of my stuff. As far as going for a side hustle or a gig, my question would be to you is, are you able to book more clients? Is that an option there to be able to make money that way? Or are you limited on the number of clients you can have and therefore have to rely on a side hustle or something? But as far as being on a path of building assets, that's always a great path to be on. Having the goal to own your own building where you can start this salon and start being the one to rent the space to the stylist is a great idea. And you definitely want to work towards that, because the more assets you have, the better off you are. And as far as like recommendations, like kind of prepping to do this goal, I want to say that credit rating is very significant. It makes a big difference when you're trying to buy a building or anything you want to do. It does make a big difference. With a bad credit rating, you end up paying higher interest rate, or you don't get approved. With a good credit rating or a great credit rating, you can get a lot of deals as far as lower interest rates and stuff like that, so that you're not spending more. But as far as that goes, I think that is a great path to be on. Keep working towards that. Book more clients if you can. If that's not an option, then yeah, get a second job. As Sean would say, go for that low-hanging fruit and just pull together as much money as possible, spend as little as possible, and have that money working for you. In the long run, You may sacrifice a few things along the way, but in the long run, you're building your own future. So it's going to only benefit yourself to hang on to that money and keep saving it. And hi everybody who's sending me waves. I see you. Thanks, Robin. Just a black sweater. Oh, and this is a pin. We spent last weekend in a mentor weekend at Sean's. It was really, really awesome. I got this really cool pin. I love it. You guys are going to be having some more mentors start giving you answers, as far as what they would do. And I'm super excited to see them get started on this path as well, because it's actually really a lot of fun. Okay, my next question is from Sebastian Ochoa. Which is the best way to get commercial contracts or clients? The background is I have a cleaning company. I started by providing residential services, but I knew I wanted to target the commercial market. Like after construction, cleanings, building cleaning, management, big company offices, office cleaning, etc. I've tried cold calls, showing up, and little contracts, but I wonder which would be the best way to get hot prospects or attract them. Well, Sebastian, if I were in your shoes, I would start targeting realtors and general contractors, especially if you're trying to get in for those construction cleanups and whatnot. Those would be your sources for that. They are who go looking for people that do what you do. So you might be able to find, even on LinkedIn, join a group of realtors, join a group of general contractors in your area. You could also resort to your local economic business development department. They normally have a lot of resources that the average person doesn't have, and they're free. I'm pretty sure they're free. Also, your local chamber of commerce is another great avenue to find that kind of work and those types of customers. I know that there are ways that you can buy lists. You might be able to buy a list of realtors and general contractors, but before I put any money into that, I personally would just start making those contacts. A lot of realtors and general contractors have monthly events. Even though we're still in COVID stuff, a lot of them are having monthly events. So you can end up going to, for instance, I'm part of our county, Ventura County Contractors Association. That would be a fantastic lead for you to go and start making friends there and building relationships and getting your name out there. That's what I would do. Hopefully that helps. Okay, my next question is from Kristen Lander. How do I learn to run team meetings, and at what frequency to build my team and culture? The description is I just brought on another coach in, I just brought on another, sorry, I can't read today apparently. I just brought on another coach in my one-to-one nutrition coaching business and aim to bring on several more this year. I want to cultivate an environment of leading, educating, and supporting my team. I've been a solopreneur my life, I can't read, I'm telling you, my entire adult life. I'm not even sure where to begin, what the meetings should consist of, or how often. I attended a leadership conference at Sean's one time. I've been to several, but in particular, we did talk about team meetings and running those. There is a book called Scaling Up that JT often recommends when we're starting to pull this kind of stuff together. He recommends daily, quick 10-minute meetings at a specific time every single day. You have a quick powwow, talk about anything important. Those work for a lot of people. Some people just do a weekly meeting where they get together and talk about the highs and lows of the week. I personally have monthly employee meetings. I spend the month preparing a PowerPoint presentation. And so I have my slides ready to go. And as I come across things that I want to talk about with my employees or share with them, I end up, throwing that onto one of the slides. And then by the time my meeting rolls around, I have all of the information I want to share. I know Sean has resources in the portal that talks about developing your core values. That, if I were starting off, that would be the way I start. I would develop my core values and then make sure that within meetings, those core values are communicated. I actually am now saying our core values at every employee meeting just because I want to keep drilling it into their heads. We have our core values on our wall. I can't show you right now because of how my phone is set up. And most people actually get their core values printed, put them on the wall, put them in the bathroom, put them in all different places so that it's constantly being reinforced. But as far as learning how to do all this, I do know that there is a lot of resources in the portal, and then attending some of these leadership conferences that Sean holds several times a year are very helpful in helping you to strategize and get that into play. So hopefully that helps. Okay, my next question is from Dane Brodeen. Hopefully I said that right. How do I hire people that I can depend on? The background is I own and operate a carpet, upholstery, and tile grout cleaning company. I'm having a very hard time finding someone who is reliable and can show up on time. Well, Dane, if I had the answer to that question and had a solution for that, I would be a billionaire right now. All across the country, every employer is having the exact same issue. From my own experience, we'll put an ad out, have a job description ready. People will apply. They seem like they'd be great. Then they don't even show up for the interview. They don't call. They don't, nothing. We just never hear from them again. I've had it happen where I actually hired people, and when their start date came around, they never showed up. And it really, 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 really sucks. I get that. It really sucks. I don't have an answer for you on that because I think most of us are all in the exact same boat. Finding these employees who are reliable and show up on time. If you can find one, it's gold. And hang on to those people and keep them happy. But you just, the old saying goes, you got to kiss a bunch of frogs to find your prince. It's the same with employees. You got to go through a bunch of not so great ones to find the true rock stars. So just keep plugging away. One option could be is that if you could go through a temp agency, you may have a little bit better luck in finding people who actually want to work and want to be there, and that gives you an opportunity to see how that person works as well. I'm not sure if that would work with this kind of work. There is a kind of like a service or a temp agency for service people called Service Trades. You could try them and see if they could find somebody for you in your area. If you find the answer, let me know and we'll make $1 billion on it. I hope that helps. Okay, my next question is from Jessica Lynn Hernandez. Can you provide direction on how to begin finding investors to fund marketing and manufacturing a new product I am inventing? The background is I spent the last 15 months working on a new product and patent. My current profession, which is construction executive and general contractor, has no relation to the mentioned idea product I've spent the last year plus collaborating on. It is an electrical device that can serve mass commercial spaces like golf resorts and clubhouses, specifically residential and marine industry worldwide. I have never produced a product. I have never manufactured a product, nor have I invented a product. I've had a lot of ideas that I think would have worked, but as far as moving forward, I've never done that. My recommendation would be to find a mentor who has done that, who has found the right company that can do the prototypes and get that invention in a place where it can be produced and all that good stuff. I'm trying to think. Dan Abate would have suggestions on this, and possibly even Joel Gandara would have answers for this kind of stuff. But I definitely would find a mentor who has done that before. I do know that initially any investor is going to want to see your business plan and the market research that you do on whether or not this product would really sell. Also, you should also have a local economic development department around you that has people who are typically they're typically retired business people who come in just to help, and it's all voluntary. SCORE is I forget what it is, but it's something retired. I don't know. It's retired business people who will give you advice and help, and possibly use their contacts and whatnot. So those are a few things I would do, but definitely you need a mentor who's done it before. I hope that little bit helps. Sorry. Brad Letchworth. I think I said that right. What are the things to take into consideration when adding work vehicles to my company for new technicians to use to perform work for my company? The business description: we are in the process of trying to put a second truck on the road this year. We have purchased the truck and the equipment and are currently trying to fill the position to operate the truck. But are there any tips, advice, do's, don'ts, processes, etc. to consider when putting a second truck on the road? Yes, I have several trucks on the road. I think we're up to 10 or 11. What we do is we keep an inventory of what is on that truck. And that is very helpful when tools and whatnot kind of disappear. What I do is we'll basically assign certain tools to them, and they have to sign saying that, yes, I did receive this, in order for them to be responsible for that. In your job description for whatever position this is for, I would include that in there, that they are going to be in charge of maintaining a company vehicle and responsible not monetarily, but mentally responsible for the maintenance. It should be up to that technician to signal to somebody, hey, I need an oil change. Hey, my tires are worn down. They need to be replaced. Those are things that I would actually include in a job description so that they know, and it's put out there to them that they're going to need to take on that responsibility. I also, in my server files, I have a main folder for vehicles, and then within that folder, I have all of my different vehicles, and I file them by the year and their VIN number and all that. And I throw anything that has to do with that vehicle into that file. So it's really beneficial to have everything in one location for that one vehicle, because over time, as you add more and more vehicles, it gets really cumbersome trying to figure out which vehicle has what, who's driving which one. So we keep lists. We have an Excel spreadsheet, who is driving which truck, because sometimes the guys switch out trucks too. One truck might be more beneficial, or they want that truck or whatever. Anyway, we just keep track of the vehicle identification, the license plate number, and who is driving that vehicle. And it really helps. I actually end up having to pull that up quite often, surprisingly. Another thing too is when you're hiring the people to operate these vehicles, make sure they're insurable. On our paperwork, we always say that must have good driving record, and we have gone so far as to ask them to bring in a DMV printout of their driving record when they come to apply, so that we know that they're insurable and can drive our vehicles. And I learned that the hard way too, by hiring somebody and then finding out they had a DUI, that was going to affect our insurance. Another thing too is when you put together your company policies, I would definitely address this in one section of that and list out how you're going to track that vehicle and what they are responsible for. I would definitely have that mentioned in your policies. It just keeps it cleaner when something happens. Hopefully that helps. Feel free to reach out if you have any other questions on that one. And on to my next question, which is also from Brad Letchworth. Thank you, Brad. How do I analyze the numbers when it comes to adding additional work trucks for the company and break-even timeframes? How do I review upfront capital needs and ongoing costs against projected sales in order to review purchasing a second or third work truck for the company as I expand? Brad, I wish I had a clear, easy answer for you on this. I have always just gone by gut instinct, and it has worked out. Whenever I feel like we are so far behind, or not behind, but just have a big backlog, and I make the decision that it's time to bring on a new technician and a new truck, it's always seemed to work out. But I don't analyze it probably the way I should. I'm sure there are many spreadsheets out there, Google Docs, or, somewhere in Excel. Like, there are different spreadsheet templates that you could just plug in those numbers, plug in your overhead, your insurance, your all that, and get that for you. I don't have an answer for you, but actually, if I do come up with an answer, I will make sure and note that and send that into our group here. Also, if you have a CPA, the CPA should be able to tell you exactly how to come up with those break-even numbers on a vehicle. And then, you also, depending on what state you're in, you also have depreciation rules. Like, some vehicles can be depreciated 100% now, where some still have to go over a certain period of time. So those are all things that will factor into those numbers that you're looking for. So definitely ask your CPA or bookkeeper and poke around on Google. That's what I would do. I hope that helps. Okay, my next question is Joshua Grant. Joshua asks, when do I need to stop outsourcing and buy the tools, machines to do it in-house? The background is I am a welding and fabrication business that fabricates a lot of metal products. Our products are power coated. This is a better way of painting that lasts a lot longer if done correctly. My problem is it is taking a lot longer to get my parts done, 2 weeks, and I feel it's hurting my cash flow. A project that we can finish in a week, then take to powder coat, wait 2 weeks, then install and deliver, then wait to get paid. The company that does this service is just getting larger. In the past, it would take them 3 to 5 days. The equipment costs is around $75,000 for turnkey. Last year I spent $20,000 on them. How can I calculate the return on investment if I make the investment to bring in-house, and what else should I take into consideration? Thanks. Okay. I had a couple thoughts on this. I'm very familiar with powder coating because we end up having to take a lot of our cylinders out to get painted and then powder coated as well. Okay. There's a couple different ways to think about this. What I'm wondering is that could that be a separate business or a separate division of your business where you could have somebody be running that and actually doing the work for that the other company that you take this to is doing? Like, you could develop a client list just like they did, how you're taking your stuff to them. If you have this space, that would definitely be something I would think about doing. I did something similar to that several years ago where we were having to get cylinders hydro tested, and it was taking 2 to 4 weeks to get the cylinders back. So we did the work and got all the hydro testing equipment in, and it was worth it. It was worth doing it. And we were able to use that in our marketing that, hey, we can do this in-house and get it back to you in this amount of time. And if you choose to do that, definitely put that in with your marketing stuff as a selling point, because speed is money. One question I have though is, or what I would think about too, is not only just buying that equipment, but then hiring the person who's going to be in charge of that equipment, running that equipment. You would need to factor in that person's salary and that overhead as well. And if I was going to be doing this, I would also start a SOP or standing operating procedure for this particular part of the business itself. Just right off the bat, you've got a great canvas, a blank canvas that you can just start creating that process for that as well. So those are the things I would consider. Also, ask your CPA if you have one, but ask a CPA about the depreciation of that equipment, because based on you spending $20,000 a year, you will make that money back within 3.5 to 4 years, based on it being $75,000 and you're spending $20,000. So you will make that money back, but the depreciation schedule may help you even further. So that's a question worth asking as well. I hope you decide to do it. Like, I just kind of feel like the more we do in-house, the better. In our particular situation, I ended up shutting down after 25 years. I ended up shutting down that program because the regulations changed, and you no longer had to hydro test these tanks as often. The liability attached to doing what we were doing was huge, and it just was no longer worth the risk. So we shut it down, and I haven't regretted that at all. But we used our equipment, daily, all day, every day, made our money back. It was good while it lasted, and, things come and go. So good luck with that, and keep us posted. Okay, my next question, and I think it's my last question, is from Quade Sturdy. Hi, Quade. I hope you're doing well up in Canada. Quade asks, when would you consider protecting IP, which is intellectual property? The background is, as I create more forms and systems to enhance my services, I've had the thought about copyright and trademarks. I feel as though all the forms I am making will set me apart from competition. I would love to be able to license out all these systems and processes when I hit that level. That way I can help others operate better companies while getting another revenue stream. Not sure if this is common practice with small businesses. Figured it's worth an ask. Thanks. Yeah, Quade. Definitely. You definitely want to be protecting your intellectual property. Typically, trademarks aren't what would be used on forms and whatnot. Those are, to my knowledge, those are used mainly for like logos and that kind of stuff. But copyright, yeah, definitely. There's a few things you can do depending on how you are creating your forms. I've been working on forms as long as I've been in AO. And what I found is with using Adobe Acrobat, I lock the editing, I set a password. You can add a watermark, or you can even add a statement at the very bottom, like in small print, saying, you know, this intellectual property is owned by Quade Sturdy, da 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 da. You can put that on there too. Unfortunately, with things like forms and whatnot, anybody who knows how to design could, you know, take your piece of paper and just copy everything off of it and do their own. And I don't think you have any recourse on that. Yeah, I think that's easy to do. The difference is most people don't want to take the time to do that, and that's how we end up getting products. And as far as putting it together as a process that could be sold, if I were you, I would be going to Greg D'Amico, who's our mentor here in the group. He does a lot. He has a company called Efficience and does a lot with these types of things and packaging software and selling it or making a subscription. He knows how to do all that stuff. So I would go to him for that. And I'm curious if you've consulted with a business attorney or an intellectual property attorney at all about how you can protect your stuff. I believe by locking the editing, setting the author, setting a password, you're going to protect your own design. And of course with the PDFs, then if it's not a fillable form, I would flatten it so it can't be edited. Even if somebody knows how to edit it, at that point it would take a lot more work for them to be able to edit your stuff. So those are things I would do. Those are things I do. And hopefully that helps. And that is the end of my questions. Hi, everybody who said hello to me. I hope y'all are doing well. And if you have any other questions or want me to expand on anything, definitely feel free to reach out anytime. Have a great day, guys. Bye.